I don't even remember my train of thought now. What did I even say?
I don't. Oh, the
Bears. No, not Saturday Night Live. Yes, what you said was Saturday Night Live, but the Bears was when what's the principal's there? He was in Ghostbusters. The guy that was the principal. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the redhead dude.
Yeah, right. So he was the principal.
The sister finds the wallet and goes.
So he goes into the bar there, and he there's a there's a Cubs game on TV, and he goes, "What's the score?" And the bartender goes, "Nothing." He goes, "Who's winning?" He just looks at him and goes, "The Bears."
I do remember that.
Yeah. Butt stuff, huh?
Does she at least have boobs?
So, tell me this story again with your son and his girlfriend.
Good night, everybody. That's the show. No, that was the story. Butt stuff. Can't get pregnant in the butt.
So Halloween's a week away.
Yes.
There should be.
Although we've been through 9 months of a Halloween, one big ass costume party. Everybody being ninjas in the streets.
Oh my god.
Everybody pretending to be victims. I mean, there's some really convincing costumes out there.
There are. Purple hair and short purple hair.
I mean, the libtard, I guess, is a costume that's in right now.
Is it really?
I don't know.
It probably. I did see something on. It might have just been right on Google, like images or something like that, and there was a bunch of costume idea, quote unquote, and there was a couple of them that. Oh no, it was a illustration, and it was done in like a chart form, and it was like. Costume ideas for 2021. It was like sexy tampon and sexy poo and everything. And then one was like sexy libtard, and it was like some woman in like a purple short-haired wig with an anti-Trump sign and a pro-abortion thing or something like that. Just these ridiculous ideas because everyone, like, let's face it, Halloween's a kid's holiday. For candy, for dressing up trick-or-treating. Kids and sluts.
So wait, is it really a kid's holiday, or has it been, one super long, unofficial, slow push towards gender identification? Because, I mean, you dress up on Halloween is what you identify as. Mm-hmm.
What the hell do I identify as?
I think I said identify as. Not as.
Oh.
What did you say?
This is the Hindenburg already.
No, confusing.
Let's get crazy with this podcast instead of just going completely political and everything that's going on in the real world. Let's go conspiracy theories.
Oh my god!
Just because these are fun.
Let's go off the first one that so far,
all right,
no one's been able to argue with me.
Okay.
About it. So let's go, Brandon.
Yeah. Didn't you bring that up?
Yes, I did bring that up, but I did do some research because I remember reading it in passing. And ever since then, I told people about it. No one can find the fucking articles.
No?
Nobody. And I mean, I kid you not.
Are you going to puke again?
No, I think it's me talking about...
You just bit your cyanide pill already.
Oh, shit. It was a blue one. I put it in the wrong tooth. Now I got a boner. Don't look at it. You'll make it worse. No, ever since then, dude, when I had the time, I was parked. I had some research time. After we talked about it the next day, I did digging. I found it. I saw the conspiracy theorists, literally, because everybody within a few days was, oh, let's go, Brandon. It was a big joke. The T-shirts, the memes, the social media playoffs, or the plays on it. It was
social media had playoffs.
Social media plays on it.
Right.
That's what I was trying to say. But then it became Super Bowl playoffs.
Right.
See, brainwaves are already working.
Gotcha.
Conspiracy theory. They're trying to turn my head.
Super Bowl's months away. Anyway.
Yes. But I read the no, I still today,
What
I have
did
yet
you-
been able to find, still today, fuck you.
He just tried to jumpstart.
Fuck you too, all right? You guys, fuck you too.
You just tried to jumpstart 3 sentences and none
I
of
know.
them.
One of them will stick, I promise. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. No, so ever since then, I have not been able to find literally the first couple articles that I read into, and I was like, oh my God, this is so outlandish. Because, I mean, they were going off.
Not really, because in the simple explanation you gave me in the last episode, I'm like, I guess it makes sense. But here's the only
And
thing
it's been working.
I thought of, in the only counter I can see to that is you take F Joe Biden, that whole spiel out of it, and everyone says, oh, let's go Brandon, now it's funny. That's fine, but here's the only thing that I would argue that point is now you've taken it to where you say, let's go Brandon, whereas before it would be, fuck Joe Biden, and there would be a group of people that would say it and chant it and everything, and they could just scrub that from the internet, which they sort of have. It's not covered by major news media outlets or anything like that. But then it became Let's Go Brandon. So now it's covered. Like every t-shirt company, like every mom and pop shop t-shirt company comes out with it. Hodge Twins came out with it. You go on Google or Amazon and there's tons of different Let's Go Brandon things.
Yeah.
So now you just push that whole thing out into the public eye, like the mainstream or the big public eye. And then what that happens is make people ask questions, what the hell does Let's Go Brandon mean? And everyone who is in on the joke goes, well, it's fuck Joe Biden. And then they're like, how the hell is that? And then they explain where it came from. So what that does is just further push even like further beyond just the small like Republicans and everything that are at these games or whatever into knowing what it means. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's funny. And then that makes people be able to wear Let's Go Brandon shirts out in public.
So when they see it,
it's kind of like the people that ride Jeeps and stuff. They have their special handshake, or people that ride motorcycles like do this, like they're gonna give each other a high five when they go by, even they're like 10 feet away. It's like that thing. It's like you see someone in public with the Let's Go Brandon shirt or hat or something. You're like, yeah, you know what's up. So you don't even have to say anything. Just everyone knows.
You know what?
That's the closest thing to an argument I have. Does it soften it so it's not so in your face? Sure. And that's not really a full argument to disprove what you're saying. But I thought about it one day at work. I'm like, does that work though? Maybe. But on the flip side, could it also push it even further than it already is?
It's a
Possibly.
balancing act. Depending on which way you go with it, you're right. You
Yeah.
can either push it over the edge one way or the other.
And the way this administration handles everything else, I really don't think they're doing anything. I don't think they're doing that right. It's like, let's turn it into a catchphrase. Like, somebody in that house has to be like, do you think that's a good idea? It's perfect. Trust me. I know what I'm doing. We got this, America. We got this. Let's turn it into Let's Go Brandon. And then here it is a couple weeks later, and there's T-shirts everywhere. And then the same guys sitting in office feeling, what went wrong?
So now,
I did like that one. I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that before when they pushed that. I'm like, that's interesting.
I like your T-shirt.
Me too.
Size matters.
You know how many compliments I actually get? I was up at a football game up at the high school, and soccer. We were picking all the stuff up there, and one of the ladies walked up to me and goes, "Where'd you get that shirt?" I'm like,
Do they have it with butt stuff?
I'm like, Amazon. It's petroleum jelly. It comes with it.
made from the tears of 1,000 virgins. It's a water-based lubricant. Oh shit! She is so getting raped.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry, they are getting raped.
They am. I
but-
told her, I go, Amazon. Yeah, I said Amazon. She got so excited. She goes, oh, good.
About the butt stuff?
Yeah, then I told her it came with the butt stuff.
But there's stuff on Amazon. Wait, butt stuff? Mm-hmm. That should be the next catchphrase.
For what?
I don't know. I love you. Nothing says I love you quite like butt stuff.
Get the butt stuff. a 12-ounce
Is
can
that
for
ginger ale?
$14.99.
Oh, that is ginger ale.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm kind of in the mood for that right now, but I got Pepsi.
Cola. QAnon.
Cool.
That's the first one that you hear all the time nowadays, especially.
I gotta be honest with you. That I'm a little.
I heard QAnon all the time, and I never paid attention to what it was. So
That's
I
where
knew
I'm at right
I
now.
knew it was a right-wing conspiracy theorist group or whatever. But I just had to do a quick thing.
Let me hear.
Which
about it.
I knew all the parts of it. I've heard of all the parts, and then the QAnon really just kind of ties it all together. The group who really sided with Donald Trump during his presidency, they're the ones that really are pushing the idea that there is a globalist. There's a group of globalists pushing for a one world currency and government, the New World Order kind of thing.
NWO, copy that.
Which that's conspiracy-ish, but you could also in real time be like, well, I mean, you could see where it happens or where things are happening. Would be like, well, that's kind of a seed that planted that could turn into that. The crazy stuff. Well, first off, they said like George Soros, the Rothschilds, Hillary Clinton, among others, are trying to form the one world government. Those are like some of the big heads that are like, oh, those are the heads of it. The crazy thing is, one of the crazy things, which they drink the blood of children for adrenochrome, which is
I have heard of this.
okay. It's in the
Okay.
in the adrenal gland, where they drink the blood of children to maintain youth and longevity in their life. That part is where you kind of lose me. Watch that be the part that actually is true. But when they say, "Oh, there's this group of people that want,"
Hillary's doing it all wrong, man, because that bitch looks old.
well, yeah, she looks rough. There's this group of people that want a one world government, and they're trying to for one currency. I could see that, sure.
Yeah.
Makes logical sense. But then they go and they're drinking children blood for youth. I'm
Well-
like, all right, well,
What's the adrenochrome clone?
adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome. I have heard of that. Actually, as a matter of fact,
I
mean,
have a vial.
I'm 87. I don't drink the blood. I shove it up my ass. What?
Butt stuff.
But no,
That's what it is. That's why he brought it up.
it's all conspiracy. No, Paul Walker died of a car accident. Celebrities, Princess Diana died of a car accident.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy around Princess.
Yeah.
Di.
Oh, yeah.
Lots and lots.
But
That's you brought that up. I wish you had texted me that because that's something I know bits and pieces of that, but there's a whole story I've heard before behind that.
a lot of celebrity deaths. They've been like, this is weird.
Didn't Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin is in the news.
That's the newest one. A few days ago.
Killing his cinema. It was an accidental misfire of a prop gun.
Right.
It took the life of the lead cinematographer and injured the director.
How do you injure two people? Was it a ricochet? Like how does that? Boom! Oh, boom! Oh, jeez! Like how does that?
It was a boom through one to the other.
Oh, all right.
Is what I'm gathering,
The hell gun was it?
because I was there and saw it happen. No. So apparently, now the story goes, because I have read a few articles about this. Long day, kind of nearing an end, is the way the story's played out, is kind of panned out. The director, hey.
So they're definitely going for the full accident.
Oh, yeah.
So try to not pin anything. All right.
But in the state of New Mexico, even involuntary manslaughter is a felony offense, which is automatic arrest, which, guess where Alec's sitting? Chilling on his home, on his couch, cooperating, which is very respectable. But even if you're not going to charge him, due process.
Money.
There is due process. And right there, whatever.
That goes back to critical race theory we were talking about. That whole spiel.
So, long day, shoot. They're working on a movie. Director's like, hey, look, I was thinking just one more take. Alec Baldwin, I don't think so. How about I just shoot you two and call it a day?
I was in Backdraft. I got it.
How about I just shoot you two and call it a day? Pointed the prop gun right at the cinematographer towards the director and fired the trigger. Now, here's a little fun fact that I had to do a lot of digging because I've only read 2 articles. After reading like 8 or 9 articles, I've only read 2 articles that even mention it, one that actually goes into detail. The prop union. There is actually a union within Hollywood.
I'm sure there has to be.
For props.
Yeah.
For
Props are a side note. Props are a huge industry, not just for movies, for collectors. I'm actually in wherever my phone is. I'm in a Facebook group. They're all prop collectors. They manufacture. There's people that just make them, like I do belts, like small time in their home, and also bigger ones that manufacture and send them to different movies, usually smaller studios and whatnot. But prop collecting is massive and expensive.
Oh yeah.
If you the Proton Pack Ghostbusters, from Bob's Prop Shop,
you flipped that for a good roll, didn't you?
The one I flipped was Spirit Halloween's, like $80, basically it was, empty shell. Basically, it's very whatever. And I just went and got stuff from like Ace Hardware, stuff to make it close or movie accurate, like different coils and things. Put it on, did a paint job on it, put it on an Alice pack, like in the movie, as close to movie accurate as I could get. And I probably put $150 in, or it would probably cost me altogether about $150. And after we went trick or treating a few years back, I put it on eBay and sold it for $860, I think.
Yeah.
But that's just a small one. Bob's Prop Shop, which is full get out Proton Pack, full size. It's got the huge like speakers in it, so when you turn it on, you hear the buzz and it rumbles, like it actually shakes. It's loud, and you can play the Ghostbusters theme and everything through it.
Yeah.
The base model is like $2,500, but it looks fantastic. Props. There's money in there.
So
anyway,
no, it's okay. Good little lesson. Actually, real quick side note based on that right there, that line of talk. I don't really watch it because of the characters. Pawn Stars.
I don't watch just because
I like seeing the artifacts go through. Someone comes in with Thor's hammer and Thor's helmet from Ragnarok. Actual prop used on the movie set, certified and everything. I forgot the company, but it had the certifications and the notoriety right on it. The guy walked in saying he wanted this much. The owner, who I tend to disagree with, I understand business is business, but seeing some of the items that roll through that store for what he pays and what he flips, I'm sorry, there's a reason why you can put $1 million down on something and not feel bad. He didn't even argue with the guy. It was one of the first few times he ended up paying like $8,000 for it.
Really?
$8,000 because he knew he would flip it for double that.
Oh, probably, yeah.
But it was an actual prop that was used on the set. So I digress. Alec Baldwin, Pops. So yeah, the prop union. The one article, there was 2 articles. I think it was like 8 or 9 articles I read entirely.
And there was one that went in detail.
No, there was 2 that mentioned the prop union, the props union, but only one that actually went into a little bit of detail about how the prop union went on record to say that they were thoroughly investigating it because it was actually a lot. So do you remember Brandon Lee, the Crow?
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
That was one of the bigger ones. That Bruce Lee.
Yes.
Was one, and then Brandon Lee, that was just bizarre.
Now, if you dig into it, you can read articles back in the day where the prop, during the cleaning process, a piece of wadding, which was loaded in to clean it, got jammed. And
for Brandon Lee?
Yes.
And that's what they said. That actually, it wasn't a bullet. It was a projectile.
The part of a wad, a cleaning wad, and somehow some plastic piece that went on it, or it was part of the cleaning process, got jammed in, and that's what misfired and killed him.
Right.
Bullshit. Not for a full through his body shot. Because if you actually look at the report, Brandon Lee, it was a full pass-through. Watt ain't going to do that. I genuinely feel that was...
No, because there's bullets that break up in people, so
Yeah.
plastic wadding.
Well, so this one comes to find out it was a live round. Yes.
Right.
It was a full action live
And
round.
how does a live round get on set?
Exactly.
No.
Especially...
Now, granted, there are security, members of police and security, I'm sure. But even so, if they're using a prop gun, and they didn't come out and say like the gun was switched. It was a prop gun, right? Which I get, a prop gun is going to be an actual gun.
It's a real gun, but it's loaded with blanks.
Right. But there was no other live rounds in it, correct?
Correct.
As far as we know, anyway. So
according to the reports,
yeah. So
one round was put into that gun.
Going by that, how the hell did that one round get in that gun?
Well, that's just it. The prop union in the one article I did read, they went on. They issued a report. They did not. They provided the props. They had nothing to do with the handling on set.
Who was the gun supposed to be fired at?
I guess in the movie, there was. I don't know what the movie's about. I didn't read into that part. But firearms was a part of the scene.
My question is, was the round how the hell do you know what conversation is going to go on throughout the day? So if it wasn't Alec Baldwin acting knowingly what he was doing, and someone else, it was a third party, let's just say, behind the scenes, like this is going to hit that person. You know, how do you know who was the round actually meant for, if that's the case?
But that's just it. Like, so if you actually look into how, you weren't there, were you, for this movie set our department helped with?
No.
I was. That gun, for all of you out there, in case you're wondering, the fire department, the local fire department that we are both members on, we aided with the shooting of a movie. The filming of a movie. We were on set for
Terrifier 2.
Terrifier 2. Shout out. I didn't know if we should use names or not.
No, you can say you can't give plot points.
Okay,
or anything, I'm sure.
So our fire department was on set to help with the filming of Terrifier 2. Terrifier 1 actually kind of entertaining.
It was entertaining.
It was
stupid, but entertaining.
Stupid B-rate, low budget.
Yeah.
But to that point where it was actually like, oh, this is kind of cool.
It was entertaining enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on set with the filming of Terrifier 2. We had to be there for 2 scenes: flame and fire. Fire and firearms. Right. So we were there. The first day was during the firearm discharging. Literally, the scene had the guy. Now this is a low budget film, and the guy said literally on set, "I don't care about the cost. I don't want him pointing that gun at anybody." So the whole plan that they ended up going through doing...
They're going to do a shoot here, or...
shoot
as in film, shoot the film this way, fire,
at the body angle shot.
Oh, they
with
did an
the
angle.
guy shooting, and then they did an at the innocence.
So you see the fire, and then you see the squib, or whatever that
yes.
is. Yeah.
You see the character shooting, and he's pointing. Then you see like a shot where he's shooting, and then it cuts right to the people getting mowed down.
If you notice, a lot of the majority of films do it that way now.
But here's the thing: you
see big budget films do it like the old.
This is low budget, and I mean, this guy showed up with the gun, lockbox attached to him.
Right.
No, but he walked in. Somebody's like, "Oh, is that it?" He goes, "Yep." Can I get the guy? He's like, "Oh, it's cool. Can't wait to see." He goes, "You can't until everything's ready." This guy would not let anybody near the box. Would not. He was the only one to open it. He handed it. He showed the guy how to handle it. Handed it to him. Stepped off camera. They did a couple tests. Every time it was done, he went back, took the gun right from the guy, cleared it. Did not let anybody on scene until he said, "Set is clear. Set is safe."
Right.
Nobody was allowed in front of them.
That's pretty much how
until
they do.
He cleared it.
when they do shots in movies when someone gets set on fire too.
Yeah.
And
Live,
everything
live,
like right off, like
Scene is
literally,
hot.
like when you see the camera, you see like up to here, and like right here, just beyond is
somebody
the whole
waiting.
team is just
Yep.
like waiting to go.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We were literally, they actually propped a couple things up because of where they wanted them to run. You can't see us, but we're in the movie.
Right.
There's a few scenes where during the flaming, the way the props are set up, we're crouched behind it
Right.
and ready to, in case shit goes south.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, the scene is hot. This is low budget. And we went, I'm sitting there like, what is it, like fucking Fort Knox shit right going on? I'm sitting here fucking astounded because of how safe and secure.
But again, Alec Baldwin. I mean, if you had Tom Cruise or something on your set, notorious in Hollywood, they're above the law.
My thing is like,
I'm not saying that, they are above the law, but when they're on set, that's how it's perceived. Oh, they're above all our rules and regulations.
but here's the
I can
thing.
do what I want.
But here's the thing. When you're shooting a low budget film and you're that concerned about death and dismemberment or accidental injury,
Mm-hmm.
and you're worried about lawsuits with a $20,000 film budget, you mean to tell me if you've got a $50 million film budget, you're not going to be the least bit more careful because I got $50 million. If someone dies, they can sue me and I'll pay for that and still finish the movie.
No, it's just for that reason there. Because when you're an up-and-coming film artist, distribution company,
Yeah.
director, cinematography, editor, anything, you cover every ground you can, because if anything comes back on you, you've already put a stigma on your name and you're not going to get hired. If you're already in big-time Hollywood and you're rolling in millions of dollars, it doesn't matter anymore because you have tons of lawyers and whatever business you're working behind or company name, you're basically under their umbrella.
Yeah.
So if something happens, you got layers and layers of protection. Where when you're just starting off, you got
nothing.
You got you and your
I don't know,
mom's neighbor's friend who is a lawyer be like, I wouldn't.
But here's the thing, like, you can find out you can't find out anything about Hutchins, I think was the lady's last name. Her personal life is almost non-existent.
Who? For...
The cinematographer that died.
Oh.
You could see a lot of her filmography, a lot of her work in Hollywood, a lot of who she's worked with, but heaven forbid, you can't find anything about like what charities she might have been a part of.
That might have been her choice, though.
But in the same breath, the conspiracy theory out there now is much like Paul Walker, much like soon to be R. Kelly. He's gonna blow the whistle, and like everyone's saying, he did not kill himself. He did not commit suicide. Which I read an article. It's funny. Speaking of R. Kelly, really quick, I saw a TikTok video. And it was the guy going, these people commit suicides. These people, Amy Winehouse, Paul Walker, Ryan Dunn, who else? Heath Ledger, other celebrity deaths and suicides. Chester Bennington from Linkin Park. All these people had all these hands in trying to expose all of these problems, this corruption, and then they die. They go, R. Kelly is threatening to blow the whistle. He did not commit suicide. He did not kill himself. He was murdered. Watch. There's actually been an article released, I want to say, over the last couple of weeks about R. Kelly's mental stability being brought into question.
Really?
About being held in a prison. About why he shouldn't be held in a prison because he's mentally unstable.
So they're gonna one of two things.
Suicide.
Yeah,
he's gonna rope himself in.
Suicide in a couple weeks, or they're gonna somehow get him to go crazy, trying to defend himself from this, and then saying, look, he's not in control, and then put him in a mental institute where no matter what he says, it won't matter.
No longer valid.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could see that. I think the Alec Baldwin thing is way too early to tell, and nothing really come out.
Because people are running in every direction.
Of
with
course
it now.
they are.
Alec Baldwin has anger issues, and it's been a long time known Hollywood thing about all the stuff they've had to cover up for him.
Right.
Because apparently Alec Baldwin You remember when the celebrities were suddenly having their spout off episodes? Like Christian Bale flipped out.
Oh, good for you. That was on the set of Terminator, wasn't it?
There was another one with Dennis Quaid. There was oh God, there was a few others. Remember? It was big.
Yeah,
like
Tom Cruise was one.
Tom Cruise, for the span of 3 years, 3 to 5 years, like every
that was
few
like
months,
the late 2000s.
Yeah, like all of a sudden you were hearing, oh, did you hear about what so and so did on set? What so and so did on set?
Because they would play it on the radio all the time.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I got.
Apparently, Alec Baldwin was notorious for it.
Really?
Like to the point where he was almost physical, like grabbing on collars, getting in people's faces,
slapping women,
like trying to instigate. And so, because that was brought into question, and they actually remarked on it, and then the conspiracy theorists went along with, oh, Alec Baldwin, longtime abuser, aggressor, da 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 da.
Like Steven Seagal. I guess he's a big shithead behind camera.
Oh yeah, and not just based on his weight. He's gotten fat.
Yeah.
Like I'm to the point where I might almost consider fighting him. Almost.
If it goes south, I know I can still outrun him.
Oh hell yeah. Every time he tries to swing at me, kick him with the balls, I'm gonna do a move to you. I run 20 feet away. All right, come get me, fatty. Sorry. Sorry. I can't even say that. It's fat shaming.
Everything's shaming now.
Yeah, everything's shaming.
We can't even do this anymore. Pretty soon we're not even going to be able to talk about conspiracies, even these crazy conspiracies, because then you're going to shame the people that think outside of the box.
Free thinkers.
Yeah, free thinkers. What's that shirt that the Hodge twins have now? It says, think while it's still legal.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually saw that one. I liked that one.
Yeah, so did I.
Think while it's still legal. I'm like, I should get that.
Another conspiracy.
Yeah.
Right? As big as it can be. We've all been through it the last year and a half. It's a coronavirus. Where it came from, what it's actually for, accident, not accident. There's so many conspiracies within this one whole thing, but just the main coronavirus, COVID-19 variant itself. That's the purpose it was released is the big conspiracy. Some is like to control population. This is just outside of, it got out of the Wuhan lab in China.
Yeah.
To control population, to introduce the vaccinations or the vaccine, to have forced inoculation, and that would be for either altering genes for gene therapy, and creating basically human-animal hybrids, or just a hybrid of a human. I think we alluded on it
a little bit
before, where if you insert
the Second Amendment. I know we talked about that because the one TikTok video I remember.
Second Amendment is bear arms.
Bear arms,
right?
Which applies to basic human rights, correct?
Right.
So the whole theory behind the vaccine is because it is genetically altered human DNA.
Right.
It no longer makes you human. Which now human rights no longer apply to you because you're not 100% human.
I've heard that. I've heard variations.
I know we talked about that before.
Another one is inserting chips, which this is partially
microchip,
a real thing that they have that. Inserting chips, once you get the vaccination injected, they actually have a chip they'll put in you to register. So I don't know if it's the one where you can actually scan it and be like, okay, yeah, he's vaccinated, and they'll actually have your information on it. I'm not sure if it's that or if it's just basically like the chip they have where they'll put it in you, like say you have diabetes, and it's instead of having the bracelet, having your medical history and everything on it, it's a chip. So they can scan that.
Yeah.
So there's that where they'll put a tracking chip in you. So there's that conspiracy. Another one is, go ahead.
Real quick, before you go too far. The crazy part about it is the microchipping thing's been out for a long time with animals. Mm-hmm. And when I bring this up, you're going to laugh.
Rabies shots.
Did you know there is actually cabinetry? Yes, like kitchen cupboards, your entertainment stand, your porn stash. People are actually getting these installed. There's chips you can get in where you wave it over. It's a handleless cabinet, almost seamless opening. You wave it over a spot, the door pops open so that nobody can access your personal stuff but you.
Human cybernetic organisms. That's human and technology interface.
Biomechanical.
Yeah. That's the interface. So that you can't even say is especially. I mean, we have it with different pacemakers. That's really rudimentary.
Well,
that's old stuff. But even up to that, what you just said there,
yeah,
we're already in the process of doing it,
and we're past that too. If you stop and think about it, look at prosthetics. They've got prosthetics that will work for you,
right?
Like they will work and function like humans, like.
Right.
Not that articulate, but look at RoboCop, the remake.
It's getting there.
I actually dug that movie. Was very
you mentioned that before.
Now, because the guy playing the guitar. Did you, speaking of remakes, Total Recall? Did you ever see that one with Colin Farrell?
Not the remake, no.
Actually good, entertaining to the point where I haven't watched it since it first came out. I rewatched it the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is insane." There's a scene where the guy has a phone. They have cell phones.
Right.
But apparently, the government agents...
This is the old style phone with the cord still attached to it. Yes, kids.
No.
Phones used to have cords.
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, no. They had cell phones in this
Right.
movie. But here's the crazy part. At one scene, Quaid's wife, she ends up being like Hauser. No. What was his name? Richter. No.
Hauser, right?
No, Hauser is Arnold Schwarzenegger's alternate character from Dennis Quaid. Who was the bald guy that's chasing him? Remember?
Oh.
You break it up, sir. I can't hear you.
Yes.
What was his name? You know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Nuts, yeah.
Well, so basically in the remake, the wife is the wife and him in one person. They combined those two characters. Actually plays out really fucking good. I forgot. I haven't seen this since it first came out. I was actually genuinely surprised at how they pulled it off.
Is that like one of those transgender things?
No.
Where are they?
She's straight up hot, and like, I would pretend to be drunk to get away with banging her. Butt stuff. You know?
I'm so wasted.
I'm ready
for butt stuff.
No, so as she's walking out of the room, she goes, and I want his phone reactivated. A few minutes later in the movie, his hand starts ringing like it lights up. He ends up cutting his hand open and pulling out this mechanism. It's got a circle and 5 wires. Now, when he first does this, he can touch glass and it displays who he's talking to. He can sit there and do like this number and have a conversation, or he's doing this and talking like I have a splinter. Sorry.
Space shuttle.
I'll get it later.
Yeah.
He's sitting there talking, and he goes, "That's how it comes to find out the person who he calls. You know, if you ever went ghost and I told me, and you showed back up, he told me to call you. Remember, he leaves the briefcase. The fucking subtitles. Fuck you. Remember, the woman picks it up. Fuck you, asshole.
Yeah.
That guy, well, in this one, it's the same concept.
Fuck you!
He goes, they're tracking you through the phone. So he ends up cutting his hand open and pulling it out.
Right.
And it's fucking epic looking because it's so skinny, so, like, fragile looking. But the technology, it's like, that's kind of fucking possible. Mm-hmm. We're at microchips already. We're at cybernetic prosthetics.
You remember what we were talking about before when I brought up the microchip phone? We went from the phone to the watch, and that's just the next natural evolution of it, I firmly believe. And then you made mention of it. It's like, oh, we don't have the technology. But I think you just proved yourself wrong there. It's like, no, we do.
That is an unrealistic portrayal of what it, you know.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean the chips in general. They have chips that have all these things that you say can open doors and stuff. They just need to go a little bit further, and there we are.
It's fucking scary.
It is scary because it's different, but if we don't do that, where I think we've pretty much peaked out at where we are gonna go. I mean, it's really.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be afraid to use some of that technology?
Of course, I would.
I mean, is that why God stays in heaven? Because he too is afraid of what he created on earth.
I'm terrified of us, and we have to live here.
I know. Stop the world! I want to get off.
I mean, you turn on the news, you're like, wow, China's developed this new missile that can.
So yeah.
And of course, I'm terrified.
Hyper. It literally
hypersonic. Yeah, it's
hypersonic nuclear warhead.
Because they're having a problem because now it can go in the southern hemisphere of the world, and we have our what's it called? The defense system in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it's in Alaska is the old missiles would have to go in the northern hemisphere. I can't remember what the reason was. I heard the whole thing. But now because they have this new hypersonic missile, they can actually shoot it on the other side of the Earth, which we have no defenses for it.
Yeah, but we will.
Probably already down there.
Until they find that
Probably
big
Command
hole.
and Conquer style.
Remember?
They just rolled in their...
Command and Conquer style?
Yeah, style. They rolled in their construction center there and just dropped it down and like building.
Finally, a load fucking symbol for you. No, remember that? Did you ever read about that conspiracy theory about why we don't
Have loading symbols? We should.
about why we don't explore the South Pole?
There's
Like the whole theory?
I've heard theories about it before, but interesting you bring that up. My father just actually told me something of they found something in
Giants?
Antarctica. No, I don't know because he was still trying to figure it out. But now I guess they found something in the ice in Antarctica. The first thing I thought of, what's the first thing that pops into your head?
Alien versus Predator.
Not me. The first thing that popped into my head
The Thing.
John Carpenter's
The Thing. Oh, God. I'd rather deal with Alien versus Predator.
I don't know. There's xenomorphs, and then there's that. This constantly mutating thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but they were able to kill that. You'd go up against the fucking... No, you go up against the thing itself. Yeah.
All three of them. The Yatas, or whatever they're called, the xenomorphs, or the mutant dog-faced gremlin. That's Rick Steiner, wrestler. Anyway, those aliens, I'm going to die either way, so what's it matter?
We're fucked. We're fucked.
We're all dead. Look
gonna
at this
be-
podcast is over. We're going to die.
I'm gonna have to look into that. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
actually
hear the-
forgot about it until right now during this conversation.
But so really quick, there's nobody ever explores the South Pole anymore. You went down there. There's pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently there's this hole. It's off magnetic charts. All right, little. You can tell obviously I have kids. Did you ever see the Spy Kid movies?
I think I've seen one of them. Maybe the first one.
So in the second one, there's like 4 or 5 now. I forgot.
Oh, yeah, no.
In the second one, there's an island that's undetectable by radar of any sort.
Sounds like a Dr. Evil kind of thing.
Comes to find out, Steve Buscemi is the scientist. He plays a genetic engineers or whatever. He creates the Transmuker device. I don't know. This device, though, has the capability.
Can we just take a minute to appreciate the name?
I know. Transmuker.
Okay, go
Mook.
ahead.
Why does that sound racist?
It probably is.
Fuck you, Mook. That's going to be... Yeah, we're going to start that. Fuck you, Mook.
I have to look it up. I might have to go through this.
It's probably one of the most racial slurs in the world.
It'd be the first actual censor on the show. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes! I'm finally breaking through more than just butt stuff.
What?
Nothing. Scoutmaster Kevin. No, so in the movie, Transmuker device, he actually creates it to hide the island. And sad but true, the technology's there. We have the ability to bounce radar. We have the ability to alter somebody's course through the programming without you realizing, so that, like, if you chart it, oh, it looks like you're going perfectly straight. And you're actually going at an angle or whatever. It happens all the times by mistake. These planes go off course. These ships they veer off a few degrees. They get where they're going, but according to their navigational equipment, they were perfectly straight. Oh, but you veered off 2 degrees. Okay, whatever. So
Just call it different.
the glitches are there, whatever you want to call it.
We'll call it's from the Gulf Stream or from different whatever streams.
So apparently, You can't find it. But there have been Amelia Earhart actually.
What is it?
Supposedly there's this hole. Now, do you remember in Kong Skull Island where they were doing the explosions and
Right, the hollow Earth theory.
Yes.
Which that's a whole nother theory.
Apparently, there was one pilot, and I may have to do some research to fact check, but I forgot the guy's name. He describes going into it and seeing a utopia overworld.
I've heard of things like that. Maybe not this story specifically, but I've heard of stories like that. Actually, the premise of Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yes.
That's the same kind of thing. It was down in South America, I believe, and they went down to the plateau, and there was a hole or an old volcano or something that they had to go down just to go down into this whole like giant crystal mines and mole people and underground civilizations lost, like eons lost in time, dinosaurs, everything else. I've heard stories like that. What, are you finding it?
I'm actually looking it up right now.
All right. While you do that, this is going way back to coronavirus. We got way off. That was chip tracking. That was the last one. Sterilization. That's the other one that people say for the COVID-19 vaccinations is this will sterilize. Which I've talked to this with some old friends at work before. Go ahead.
Sorry. Where did I just read it? It's a town that was the reason hollow intersection. The theory was once taken seriously by scientists. Hold on. Simus holes.
All right.
Are located at Simus. S-Y-M-M-E-S.
You could not write a better. What's the guy that like went inside the giant hole? What's his name? Holes. Of course it is.
To get to the bottom of the theory, Egerton even volunteered to sail to the North Pole on a Russian icebreaker as part of an expedition to locate an entrance to the Hollow Earth. Hollow Earth lore holds that giant holes known as Simus holes are located at either pole.
Yeah, I've heard this before.
Yeah, and they discuss like apparently
that's Godzilla versus Kong was really centered around that. The whole idea of that was centered around the Hollow Earth theory because that's where all these giant kaiju came from or stayed. It's like how did we not see them for millions of years? Well, because they're inside. They're kaiju. It's the kind of movie it is. It's giant kaiju, which means Japanese for giant monster.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm just saying, like East Coast versus West Coast, East lore, West lore. You know, a lot of Eastern lore they refer to as the Titans. You know, West lore, the kaiju. Yeah, but still.
What? Oh, sterilization.
Sterilization.
Yeah, I've had conversations before with some friends of mine at my old job. We this is like a year or so ago. Be like, wouldn't that be something? If the people that got these shots and stuff came back 5 years down the road and they couldn't have kids.
Well,
and there's been just a few cases of that actually happening or something to that degree.
There's been proven cases of it now.
Well, I know
it's not just a few anymore. Where
I don't know any.
With them lowering the age group and approving these vaccines, it's causing there's been more than just a few cases.
They can go down to 14 now or something, or
they're
12?
Trying to push the 5 to 12 one now. 5 to 12.
I did hear that. Yeah, but
it's been proven there are cases now, more than just a few, about it causing sterilization.
Yeah. So that was another one. But again, a lot of these, you see the chips being injected, the altered genomes, the sterilization, and maybe there's something to the first one, the genes. The chips is a real thing. Sterilizations, as you said, like I said, I know there was a few cases. You said there's more than that. So is that really conspiracy theory? It's like that right now we're in the middle of everything, so it's hard to really go one way or another. If you go too far one way, you're like, well, you're an aluminum tin foil hat wearing crazy. But if you go too far the other way, you can't just
you're Kool-Aid drinking.
Yeah, you can't believe everything. So that's what makes it so hard to sit in the middle.
But I think that's why a lot of this is like, do you think maybe, let me ask you this, genuine opinion. Do you think maybe a lot of this shit's happening because the amount of far-fetchedness, I guess, is that a good way to say it? the extent of how far fetched this can go, and versus what is actually in the realm of possible. Do you think that's why a lot of this stuff's happening, because the scope is so big now that the way to go off of it, oh, see, told you, whatever, it's coming anyway. Like you said before about moving up with evolution. You think that could be the case as to why this is all happening now? Because we are going so far-fetched as to say hollow flat Earth. And no, Earth is round and we have a core in the middle spinning at miles per hour. The scope is so far apart now that you can't, like, back in the 80s when we were coming up, what was the biggest conspiracy theories you heard about? Into the 90s, think about it.
A big one I know was, one was AIDS, and another one was crack.
Okay.
Those two things was to really control this wasn't really in the 80s, this was later on, pointing at the 80s. Conspiracies in the 80s? I don't know.
Let's go with
watching He-Man, G.I. Joe.
Okay, but let's go with the one that made everyone's head turned because it was so narrow scoped. Area 51. For years, that's been a huge conspiracy theory thing about the aliens, the UAPs. But people were much more aware of the craziness going on in real life. And, let's not, we can't go down that rabbit hole. Now, with how much crazy shit's going on, do you think...
You mean not aware?
Not aware, okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Back then, absolutely. People weren't so aware because it's been said many times.
So when shit like this came out, it was attacked.
Yeah, but with 100% logical reason back then. Because now we didn't have social media back then. We didn't have all these other ways to get news. Back then, you had your 5 big news channels on TV, and if you didn't get it from there, which we said before, you got it from word of mouth.
Yeah.
So if nothing was covered and someone said, there's a hidden military base in Nevada, and they have alien technology possibly there, a UFO crash in 47, and now we're backwards engineering all this technology to get better weapons, stronger weapons, better technology for communication. In 1984, when we were born, it would be easy for even me to be like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Now we fast forward to 2021, and you see UFOs are a real thing.
We're growing organs in animals. We're literally injecting ourselves with cybernetic technology. We are to the point now where even normal modes of transportation are becoming outdated. We are to the point now where it doesn't matter how crazy shit is getting. It's possible.
Another thing, absolutely, and another thing, we're injecting ourselves with human cell lines, fetal cell lines, and stuff. Yeah. And like I said before, that stem cells for all, if you have nagging injuries, back injuries, and joints and whatnot. But beyond that, one argument we said in the I can't remember what show it was, the vaccinations and whatnot. A big argument is I can't take it because it has fetal cell linings and that goes against my religious belief. But then I brought that list up, which had all these other over-the-counter medications. Yeah, all these
random shit. Yep.
Medications that all have the same thing. So we've been injecting ourselves, well, not injecting, but we've been taking medications with
fidget a little bit. It was weird. I don't know what happened.
We got shut down.
Yeah, that's it.
We got shut down.
We were exposed and we were talking about the swallowing human DNA. By the way, you still down for that later?
They probably got wind of that.
They did. They got wind of us making butt stuff. Okay.
That was big pharma. That was big pharma coming and going, not taking money out of my pocket.
But yeah, no, we just kind of glitched off there for a second. That was weird.
On to the next point anyway.
So yeah, Biden is the best president though.
Yeah. He definitely freed the slaves.
Now that we know they have the power to shut us down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I voted Democrat, sure.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Another thing is this whole thing is a bioweapon released by China purposely. That was another conspiracy. Which, knowing what we know or how China's perceived to us through our media, sure, why not? In actuality,
let me ask you this: with everything going on, nuclear warheads, nuclear arms, whatever you want to call it.
I really think biotech is the next wave. I think.
Do you really think we would ever have a nuclear war? Because let's be realistic here. Nobody's defenses are perfect. And the only way we're going to fight fire is with fire. So when someone pushes the button, everyone else is going to start pushing their buttons.
I think
if we had a nuclear war, I genuinely, in my opinion, let me tell you why you ponder that, because it looks like your load bar is going. I don't think we will ever truly have a nuclear war. Only because of the collateral damage all around the globe. If you want to talk New World Order conspiracy, blah, 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 be my guest. I genuinely don't think we will ever have to worry about a nuclear war because of the amount of irreparable damage that will be caused and the amount of rebuilding it'll take every nation.
I don't think so either, just for that reason, too. And not because of the amount of damage it would... Well, yeah, the amount of damage, but it's because we are so humans are into self-preservation. Yeah. The only reason we recycle is not we need to save the earth. It's the self-preservation.
Yeah.
We're
a parasite.
Yeah, we really are. We don't care about the earth. The only reason we care about the earth is because we are on it.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally the
We don't care about the moon, and we've fucking stuck a bunch of stuff in that thing's ass.
Yeah, you know how many used condoms are sitting
You know how much bust up we've done to the moon?
Lots.
A lot.
That's why that Swiss cheese looks like Swiss cheese. I don't think there would be I think here's the dangerous part, though, which is what I was going to say. I think the new warfare will be biotech. It'll be biogenetic warfare.
Oh, I definitely think bioengineered weapons, be them diseases, humans, machinery.
That is more dangerous than nukes, because nukes is this big boom. You can see, the world can see it. Jeez, but it's contained in this one area. Well, biotech, it's silent.
Bioengineered viruses.
You don't know.
You don't, exactly. And that's where I think... But now let me ask you this. I don't support that bio-released weapon, a controlled release bioweapon from China to wipe out America. No offense or nothing, but China has like 100 people to our one.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most overpopulated country in the world. You dropped the bomb on the wrong place. Like, I get it. We suck to you or whatever. You guys suck to us. I don't know. Take your pick. Nobody's perfect. But, I mean, you've got a country that literally has a limitation on how many children you could have.
I think they actually raised it. Before it was one female or one male and whatever female. I think
you could have like multiple females, but once you have a boy, you're done.
Something to that effect, but I think they raised it to 3. I think the total before was 2, but now they raised it to 3. Why, I don't know, but
yeah,
I mean, whatever. That's China.
No, but still, seriously, I don't support that theory.
I'm not too sure of it.
That
either.
one's a little off the wall, if you ask me.
Not that any of the other ones we've gone through. No. Children blood, that's fine, but
adrenochrome, I'm smoking that in my vape right now.
Yeah. The last one
0% nicotine.
This is the last one for COVID-19. Is this whole thing was done to cause a catastrophe, which we touched on with that defector talking about, in order to restructure the financial structure and restructure our government into a one world government.
I think the COVID, corona, whatever, I think that was a mistake. Do I think it was biogenetically engineered? Yeah, I think it was definitely altered. They've been experimenting with the SARS virus for a long time, trying to mutate it, trying to cure it, trying to kill it, we all know we've all played video games where you have to cover every base, and that means shooting your loose ends. Red Dead Redemption 2. Like literally, I have a negative honor
all
level.
depends on how you play the game.
But I'm the type of person, you're playing the game, you got an honor level.
Not today, son. Not today.
You're playing the game with a higher honor level because you let the guys go. I'm the guy that's playing the game and playing it like real life where, you beat me up and took my money. I'll come back and get you someday. No, you won't. And I've got a lower honor level. But
You're
what
the
I'm
one
saying,
that when you get to the end of the game, there's actually nobody else in the game but you. Because, well, you killed 100% of the population of the entire...
I'm going to get the ending where it's Arthur
It's a hidden
Morgan's...
ending? Like-
It's Arthur Morgan's gravestone and nobody's there. Nobody's giving me a send-off.
Who put the grave there?
Fuck you. Stop it. So, we've been experimenting, not we, the CDC and research labs, they've been experimenting with it a long time, trying to figure out every avenue it could go, which is fucking natural. You want to get ahead of somebody, you got to be willing to take those few extra steps forward into the gray area. I think the coronavirus, the COVID-19, I think that was a slip.
So do I.
I don't think it was supposed to happen. I think, this is just my opinion, but once it did, it was like, well, we've already pushed the tip in, let's drive the rest of the way home. Butt stuff. Oh! And that's what it has become. We have this avenue to practice mandate forced inoculations. We have a way to control the population.
Suppose this was being manufactured to do such a thing, and it just got out by accident too early. Like, shit, we're not even ready for a cure yet. Well, all right, well, we got to double time, guys. We got double time now.
We are all now working one overtime shift a week. Oh, I don't want to work 4 more hours. No, but I think that's where that conspiracy theory I can 100% support. I think this was like the floodgate. The minute the water started to leak through, it was fuck it, push the
Drip,
holes,
whatever.
Yep, open the gate, and now they've got, we've got all this stuff where we can mandate, we can take benefits, like the vets. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, the whole thing behind it is
a lot of older military.
We've covered that.
You mean to tell me
times,
you're going to take away their benefits? A lot of them that depend on it. Suicide rate's going to go up.
But then you want to go down a conspiracy rabbit hole. Maybe that's the whole plan too. Step by step, we're going to get rid of all these people. The vets are going to be gone. We're going to make it so people that are in the military or not in the military that are carrying firearms are going to go so crazy looking to see what we do that we can actually come down and say, you are not mentally stable anymore. We're taking your firearms away. I mean,
I'm just saying. If
we're going to talk about conspiracy theory, there's one right there. This whole thing is designed, as by design. Whoops, we let it out. Well, now we have we got to get a vaccine, and it's emergency mandates, and now we have it, or it's emergency approval. Now it's out there. What about these other things? Well, that doesn't count. That's not real. Don't listen to that.
Stop
CDC, we got our fact checkers out taking care of that.
Stop free thinking.
Yeah. And then, we have the vaccine, you're not taking them. Well, now we're going to have to mandate it. So now we're going to take more stuff away. Here comes the suicides. And we're getting rid of more people that doesn't go along with that thing. So let's just keep rolling with the whole conspiracy theory.
And let's talk about thinning the herd.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that takes care of the population
Think
control.
about it this way: when you
people
look
that
at
don't fall in line,
when you look at a herd of cow, they will leave. They will push. And I'm talking about in domesticated farming animals versus natural wildlife. They will both do it. Like a herd of buffalo will push the weaker, less surviving, like the less likely to survive buffalo to the back of the pack, because that's where the predators are nipping at the heels. For the ones that are slacking, the ones that are falling behind, there's your food. thinning the fucking herd.
There you go, Billy.
We
Get
are
in the back.
literally we have gotten to the point as a society where we are pushing out the free thinkers. And they're the ones that are going off the grid. They're the ones that are disappearing. They're the ones that are getting shot while on the set of a movie.
Maybe. You never know. I mean, that could all tie in.
Who the fuck knows? It's crazy enough to think.
5G. That's another conspiracy. The 5th generation broadband high-frequency
my God.
cellular network. It's been said that that's used to... Well, actually, this is actually a thing. This part is an actual real thing. The 5G frequency is used to control masses during times of unrest. It actually will calm people. Different radio frequencies, not necessarily 5G, but different radio frequencies have been used to calm groups of people during high stressful situations. So, again, going back to the last one, we're dropping a Mandate on you. 5G. Here comes the frequency. So, that sucks, but...
Can I get a shot in my pee hole?
All right.
Kind
Bullshit.
of aroused.
So, that's a real thing.
Well,
You can look into that. That's an actual...
psychological warfare. I mean, what was
That's a
it?
whole other thing.
No. What was the country where they surrounded this town because they wouldn't let troops in or something like that? They put speakers around the whole town and played this music non-stop.
Nam, I think. Wasn't that in Nam?
I don't
Or
remember
Korea?
what war.
I think it was in Nam.
I almost think German.
I think in
like
Vietnam we actually did a thing where we would play quote-unquote ghost sounds in the woods because they were so superstitious about spirits in their woods and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just to freak them out and draw them out of the woods. That's a tactic we did do.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll drive you crazy. We've all heard of the brown note.
Which is false.
Is it though?
Yeah, that was on Mythbusters.
Is it? No. I remember it being on Mythbusters,
Yeah.
but they could never. What was it? There was some pushback apparently from the community about how, despite all the fact checking they did, that there was other notes that were unreachable.
Well, what about the dark green note?
There's the Hulk green note. Remember that ketchup back in like the 90s? The green ketchup?
Yeah.
Made you poop green?
Another one is it causes cancer and autism, kills birds, trees, and...
Well, you do know that they have tested like sound waves and stuff like that fucking with birds and shit like that, where it will drive them like...
Yeah,
whoa.
I did. That was a long... I guess a long time ago.
We have dabbled in like sound in wave technology.
Right, yeah.
We've been diving into wave technology since the fucking
90s.
dawn of
It was the 80s or 90s.
since the birth of the microwave. Since before then, how do you think we found out what a fucking microwave was?
We got, as in like missile form or whatever?
Like
to
in
knock
any way,
missiles-
shape, or form.
Isn't that, don't we have something? Oh, no, that's a laser.
Any way, shape, or
a
form.
laser.
Wave technology has been a study of research for as long as we've been able to think.
What I was talking about was we have that anti-missile, whatever it is. It's a turret that actually uses a laser to shoot down missiles. It automatically locks onto them. It's the coolest thing to watch.
Yeah.
They fire off a dummy missile, and this huge turret on a battleship just like locks into it, falls it, and fires a laser at it. Obviously, you don't see it unless you're in like some, I don't know if it's infrared or some other camera lens.
Yeah.
But you see it fire and just boom out of the sky. Like, that's awesome.
But that's
the
just
Death
it.
Star. That's the first steps of the Death Star.
We can
Yes, finally.
we can mess on the light spectrum. Mm-hmm. We can mess with sound waves.
Speaking of light spectrum, this is kind of off topic, but I thought of this again at work one day. This popped into my head and it kind of drove me crazy. If you are in a pitch black room and it's the shape of an L and you have night vision goggles and there's someone around the other side of the L and there's a mirror with night vision goggles, will you be able to see them?
Yeah. No. Wait a minute. Shit.
Pitch black, no light.
So you wouldn't. So the way a mirror works.
It's a reflection of light.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is why I'm pretty sure with night vision goggles.
Which actually.
Mirrors actually, even if there's an absence, if it is a true pitch black. You will only see what looks like a solid object.
Wrong. You will see them, and they will emit light. Because we emit heat, which is a form of radiation,
That's right.
which is a form of light. It drove me nuts, though. I had to look it up. And sure enough, it was like first thing I've spent 20 minutes just racking my brain. I'm like, I don't know. Huh. And then I had to look it up. And sure enough, it's like, yeah, night vision goggles will work in a true pitch black room with no other light source other than two people. And because you emit heat, which is radiation, you'll see them through a mirror. Because it's not just a heat signature, it's a light signature that night vision sees. Not heat, it's light.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I don't know why this whole equation popped into my head. And like, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, 5G.
Yeah. Now that you mention it,
yeah,
you can see yourself in the mirror. I've seen videos of people looking in mirrors with night vision goggles and seeing themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot now. As opposed to the rest of my day-to-day.
Simulation theory. This one is interesting because this is one of those theories that it's kind of like what did I say before? The Matrix simulation, which I have 3 in a row here, which really tie in with each other. Simulation theory, the Matrix simulation, which is I listed as 5A, which goes along with Hollywood and media. I'll get to that after. Simulation theory is something that you can say, well, no, it's not a simulation because I can feel and everything. But then if you really know it, even the minute part of simulation theory, it's just we're part of a supercomputer and everything you think you see, feel, know, remember
is what you're being told you think and see.
It's whatever is in the algorithm or in the...
Now, you're going to laugh at this. Way back in the day, do you remember the movie Dark City?
No.
13th Floor?
Not that I know of.
The Matrix?
Right.
Okay. For a span of like 5 to 7 years, late 90s into the early 2000s, these movies came out. Dark City was like this movie about these people that they would put the world to sleep, the city to sleep, go in, inject them with something, change their scenario.
Oh, butt stuff.
And they would wake up like nothing ever happened in this new life. The one scene that strikes me in particular is there's a guy sitting at a table with his wife or something like that. They're in a poor, rundown apartment. They're eating soup out of a bowl. And they look poor. The city goes to sleep at the time it's supposed to. These guys in these long trench coats come in with their hats. They're pale skinned, bald. They inject them. They change the whole scene.
They look like Seven from WCW. Anyone who knows wrestling knows what I'm talking about.
They rebuild his apartment. Like, it's all like changing. It's weird. Like it's almost like a scene. Props are being pulled, pushed, and then they dress him up in a real rich suit and everything. They give him the injection or something like that, or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly how it happens. He wakes up and he's like, ha ha ha. And like I was saying, like how the money, the revenue. Da, da, da. Now all of a sudden he was a rich person. And this guy, the premise, the plot line is this guy wakes up during the process because something's wrong, and comes to find out he's actually got a power that they have, and he can fight them, and he breaks free, and he wants to end it and wake everybody up to the reality of what they're living in, a controlled simulation. 13th Floor, that was one movie. 13th Floor, plot line is, basically, you go into like a tube. Then like you sit on a bed and hook up a fucking like a headset, and anybody can have it at their home, and it's for the rich elite. You go and you live this life through a computer simulation, and the 13th floor is where the program stops. Because the guy goes into the room, go to this. He gets tips throughout the movie to go to this place, go to the 13th floor. Well, there's no 13th. I think he has to press like 12 and 14 or something like that, and it brings it to, because it's like the code. I forgot what happens, but he ends up falling in love with a girl from the real world who's in the simulation as another girl, because their characters in real life are married, but they control each other in their respective characters in the simulation to be cheaters.
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. Great fucking movie. But that was more game look.
Mm-hmm.
But these were like supposed to be. These people lived their own lives while they were. The man is taking over. Run! Hold on, folks. Technical difficulties.
It's not Ready Player One. I'm sorry.
So, well, that's the thing, though. In the 13th floor, like, these people live normal lives until they get controlled.
Ready Player Two.
No, and then The Matrix. But that was more the computers keeping us alive to provide them the energy they needed.
Right.
Which, ironically enough, humans do generate enough electricity to heat signature to generate electricity. So The Matrix was right about something for once.
The thing with simulation theory, which I find interesting.
A white suit with dreadlocks. God, the worst characters ever. We are not happy. We are displeased. It disappeared. Reappear inside some girl. Some guy. Some person.
Demi Lovato.
Doing butt stuff they didn't even wear.
In simulation theory, this happened to me at work before.
You know what we're going to have to do for this episode? We're going to have a counter. Butt stuff. Ding, ding. Counter. Every time it goes up.
That's a lot of editing. I got to get someone else to edit it. Simulation theory. This happened to me at work. And I wasn't the only one who saw it. So normally, if it was just me, I would have just brushed it off as nothing. And Trevor, he was there with me.
I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, we were both.
The nail?
We were both in one of the aisles at work, and there was a piece of wood on the floor in front of me. And I walked up to it, and I just kicked it across the floor. Well, as I kicked it across the floor, it goes into a slot. But when it goes into the slot, it makes a metal sound, like a nail being kicked across. It was clearly a splinter of wood, a part of a pallet, and it made a nail sound going across. There was no nail in it. And I stopped first. It just stopped me dead in my tracks, and I looked at it. And I look over at Trevor, and he's looking at me. He goes, "I saw that too." I go, "All right, it wasn't just me then." I go, "Well, that was a glitch in the Matrix." So, to this day, I'm like, I have no idea.
Well, let's go one further. Let's go with one that everyone's familiar with, the Mandela Effect.
I actually have that somewhere. Yeah, right there.
Berenstain.
Yeah.
Shaq in Shazam versus Sinbad in Shazam.
See, that one, though?
That one? Now, here's the thing, though. I've argued. Like, I can fucking remember.
There are things that people bring up, like the Luke, I am your father, which never happened in Star Wars. Everyone's like, that happened. It's like, no, that didn't happen. That was... But... Again, with a lot of these other things, that's one of those arguments you could say, well, maybe it didn't happen in your universe. Like, how the hell can you argue that?
But the alternate reality, the parallel universes theory can come into that one, too.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
But that was like, but how about this? Think about it this way, in the same aspect. Alternate realities, alternate universes, parallel. How many save files did you have on Command & Conquer? 1 or 20, trying to play through the game in different ways and figure out and whichever one succeeds. When I played Command & Conquer,
I would go back when I was done and play it again in a whole different way.
No, see, I would go 2 or 3 saves, and then if I didn't like they were playing, I'd play out another one, and I'd let those 2 or 3 go and see what happened on their own. Mm-hmm. I was that player.
You know, you do that. You remember what I said before? It was kind of those stupid, mind-blowing things. We were playing Brawlhalla, and we went into a server, and the other 2 left, so we left. And then I go, "Do you think they're still fighting in that server, all 4 computers?" And you're like, I don't know.
I remember that.
It's like, did we just create a universe for those avatars, basically, and now they're just living their lives still to this day, a year or two later,
on that one board.
Like,
I hate you. I want to die.
Maybe we are we're avatars for some other people playing video games.
Well, look at Avatar the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all about conscious control.
All right.
But, you know, you are being, when you're in it, in the machine, sleeping, you're simulating another life.
This could all fall in with the Emphalis hypothesis, too. The Thursdayism, last Thursdayism, where there's the whole theory that everything you know, this really falls in line with...
Happened on a Thursday?
It happened last Wednesday or Thursday. Sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's Thursday. But the fact, the whole premise is everything you know, all your memories, all the people around you, everything you have, your job was all created last Thursday, and you are just basically put here. Simulation. This falls with simulation theory. But that's one of those things that's impossible to disprove.
Yeah. Because we could be programmed, but you could program...
I could be programmed for your Thursdayism to be like, no, man, 2 weeks ago I had to do this. According to my daughter, which she always says, no, we did this yesterday 2 weeks ago.
We did. It was last night, dude. That wasn't 2 weeks ago.
Oh, whatever.
Today isn't now.
Yeah.
You were created today.
Yeah. One thing...
I could see that. You can't disprove it because...
No, and that's like, well... But at the top of this page, I said, is this all qualify as pareidolia, though? Where pareidolia is, we see sequences and pictures and things that aren't really there. Like when you see a face or something, you walk by a building and there's a drainage pipe going down with 2 windows, and you're like, that's a face. Or what's that? Like the most popular one that was disproven in the 90s of the face on Mars. And they had a huge, but it was just a mountain range with specific shadows. Like, oh, there's a face on Mars that was an ancient civilization. It's like, well, we see a face just because of how the shadows are laid out. That's pareidolia. But that's not necessarily just in visual whatever. Well, if someone sees things going on in simulation theory, like me kicking a thing, and it sounds like, I mean, who knows? Maybe there was a nail somewhere else that I somehow didn't see or whatever.
But it also, how about the fact that, like, we'll use the Matrix. Everything tastes like chicken. How much stuff does get referenced to chicken? You know, and in the movie, the character Mouse makes it was what if the, programmers didn't know what chicken tastes like? That's why everything tastes like chicken. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like... That
was an old friend of mine said, if everything tastes like chicken... This was when, like, we were kids. Like, 9, 10. He goes, if everything tastes like chicken, what's chicken taste like? And even way back then, I'm like, it's a good question. I don't know.
No, but, what was I going to say? Fuck. The pareidolia, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, that's everywhere you go, though. I mean, how many times have you looked at, like, your soup or looked at the snow sculpture? Or when I know I do it, when I'm sitting there in a bathroom and I see they've got, like, the splattered, decorated tiles, I go, oh, look, a demonic face. Ironically enough, 90% of the faces I see are always demonic.
That's a Rorschach test. That's one of those Rorschach tests. I don't want to
do
ink blot test.
I don't want to do the Rorschach test. I'm not joking. I see a lot of demonic faces and a lot of weird shit. It's like, huh.
Another, I skipped over this, but it does kind of fall in line with this as kind of a conclusion to this simulation theory and matrix simulation and last Thursdayism. Hollywood and the media are showing you the truth in multiple forms of art. Either what is going on in the government or what is the direction we're going. In movies, books, art, music, all show people what's actually happening. One, I put The Matrix, which we were just talking about.
Terminator 2.
They Live. 1984. George
Roddy Piper starring it.
George Orwell.
Attack of the World. War of the Worlds. No.
War of the Worlds is like aliens. That's
Who was
crazy.
that? That was Orson Welles.
Orson Welles.
Yes, sorry.
12 Monkeys.
With Bruce Willis. Fuck. I forgot all about that movie.
The Crazies.
Yep.
If you watch, I just watched The Crazies again about a year ago, and I hadn't
Killer
watched
Clowns from Outer Space.
So, if only my daughter would love it.
Except for the one nice guy. He was our friend.
Her favorite is Shorty.
Oh,
Tiny
God.
clown. She loves Shorty.
Yeah, the one that's nice. The one that helps us out, right?
No, that's the one that boxes that one biker and knocks his block. What are you gonna do? Knock my block off? Boom! His head flies off.
I have to rewatch that.
Oh, it's awesome.
Some of I'm mixing up characters now. I didn't forget any of the characters, but yeah, God.
I mean, you somewhat see things in music, not so much, or physical or visual art, but mostly in books and especially in movies. Like you said, Terminator 2.
So you're saying Jack really did die for Rose?
Hope so.
Titanic?
Yeah.
I mean, she had a big butt. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on there.
What a selfish broad.
You know, Mythbusters proved it, that wasn't accurate, that they could have both fit on the door.
Of course
and
they
then
could.
I think it was James Cameron, right? No. Who directed that one? Yes.
James Cameron. Yeah.
James Cameron actually appeared on the show and said, but guys, he didn't fit on the door. Or there wouldn't have been a story. Oh, crap. Myth busted. Speaking of which, really quick, funny, you got to watch Escape Planet Earth. It's the movie about the little blue aliens.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever pay attention to the names? Mm-mm. Like, James, Cameron, get those two. Or get those aliens. And then these two agents go running at the aliens. James Cameron. There's another one in there. What was it? I think John Carpenter's name gets mentioned in there.
Really?
Yep. That's John, he was a carpenter.
My daughter watched that, and I sat down and watched it with her. At the end of all these, I just put this allegory down, which I thought was interesting. It's from Plato, philosopher Plato. One of his allegories, where he talks about a group of people living in a cave who only watch their shadows, and that's all they believe is actually out there, until someone actually leaves the cave and sees everything else. So I think that's pretty much what conspiracy theorists believe they're doing, as they're leaving the cave and they're seeing, oh shit, there's all this other stuff going on. And the people that are still inside the cave just watching shadows on a wall, that's all they believe there is, because that's all they've been exposed to.
But, so let's go down that rabbit hole a little even deeper.
Bigfoot.
Well, let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's go down that rabbit hole just a little bit deeper. You know, are they stepping out of the cave?
There's a conspiracy. Rabbit holes. We can't go down those. They're too fucking small.
They are. Are they really stepping out into the real world, or are they walking to another section of the cave? That's fucking mind blowing.
It's all interpretation.
What if we never? What was that movie? There was a movie about 9 people in a room, like in a house, and the last one to live.
House on Haunted Hill.
No.
Oh.
Won $1 million.
House on Haunted Hill.
So they end up starting to kill each other off. Some people die by accident, and at the end, the woman survives, grabs this big duffel bag, a door opens up into another home with 9 people all holding duffel bags. The fuck movie was that?
I don't know. It sounds vaguely familiar, though.
Yahoo. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're going to Yahoo it.
YouTube, do me a
Yahoo!
favor. Fucking Bruce.
We're gonna dogpile.com this one. We're gonna find out what it is.
We gotta find out. The YouTube help us out.
Ask Jeeves.
AskJeeves.com help us out. Gargle. That's the website I like to go to.
Gaggle and gargle. Whatever, pareidolia.
Yeah, see my dick.